I'm the youngest of 8 children, all same mother and father in one household. However, when I was 6 years old, my mother and father did separate. And so we were basically raised by my mother, but we were all in private school. Um, had a wonderful family, 5 big brothers, 2 big sisters.
We were a single parent household. We, I guess we did what we thought was what normal kids did. We had fun together. We played together. We laughed a lot, even though sometimes our circumstances weren't the best. But we overcame those obstacles, and we lived life as we did. Our surroundings were kind of conducive to what I guess everybody sort of lived the same because we were in a low income neighborhood, and so what we saw was pretty much everybody on the same financial level, if not lower than what we had. We did have one working parent, which was my mom, and she took care of all four of us kids.
I'm married. I've been married for 19 years. January 22nd will be a wonderful 20 years I've been married. I have one son. He's 26 years old. His name is Thomas. My husband's name is Granderson. And life is just wonderful. I love the Lord, serve at church. My name is Linda Green. I was diagnosed HIV positive in 1990. In 2000, the disease was undetectable, and it has been since then. So now I am a survivor of the virus of HIV.
My name is Deidre, and this is my sister Carla. And she passed away with AIDS 11 years ago. The actual results took about 2 weeks, and then they called her in with the results, and as it turned out, it was positive.
His daughter came to call me on the phone at my job and told me that I need to get myself checked because her father had AIDS and was dying of it. And I knew nothing of it. So when they told me, I didn't know. When I got the call to go to the hospital get I actually didn't know. I honestly thought it was maybe a form of cancer or something. Honestly, I had no idea.
The results of the HIV test has came back positive.
No.
Yes, ma'am. We're in results on you now. Like I said, I'm sorry to have to break that news to you, but it is positive. Are there any questions that you need to ask me about that?
My mother and my father separated when I was 6. My mom dated married men. My sisters dated married men. And for some reason, I fell into that same trap, is how I became infected, dealing with a married man, being involved with a married man. Always coming to the store. He liked me, but I didn't know. So he would always buy a bottle of water and a Fig Newton and come, get in my line for me to ring him up. And so he would started to give me a ride home in the evenings. And one day we were just riding home, and I said, I have something to tell you. And he said, okay. And we just riding. And I said, well, I'm HIV positive, and I went on to tell him, how it happened, and who infected me, and my status, and that I take the medication and stuff. He said, okay. So what you want me to do? Pull over and put you out, or you want to keep going?
Actually, she didn't tell me. My husband happened to work at the hospital that she had gotten her results, and on the day that she had gotten her results, he found her in the hallway on the floor. instead of going home, he took me to my mom's house where my sister was. And he sat me down at the same kitchen table. And I knew something was wrong because my sister had tears in her eyes. And she couldn't really tell me, I guess, because she was just so overwhelmed with the results. And he broke the news to me. What was supposed to be a joyous moment, a joyous time for me, became such a sad time. At the time, I happened to be 8 months pregnant with my second child. I didn't know how to react because my first reaction was to just want to cry. And then I sort of went into like a protective mode for her. I went into a means of finding her treatment to try to beat this disease.
They told me my immune system was dropping, and it was actually 150. My T cell count was 150, and legally, by medical science, that's full-blown AIDS. I chose to work overtime and work extra at my job because I meant I would not be defeated in this thing. And
she took medicines that wreaked havoc on her body. But then it came a time where she really couldn't work anymore because she was going blind. She was losing weight real rapidly and becoming real sluggish and tired. I remember just not wanting to go that day simply because I was just overwhelmed, tired, and sad. And I remember standing outside the door and hearing her say that. She said, "I know my sister's coming," because she said she would. And at that time, I really understood that she really needed me to show up every night. The day that she went into the hospital, she had an unexpected calm about her. She wasn't anxious. She wasn't crying. She wasn't sad. It was almost like she was just okay with what was happening. Did a brainwave test on her, and we realized that her brain was shutting down as well. And we all began to realize that this was going to be it. She said, "I'm tired, Mom." And my mom, I guess being a mom, knew exactly what she meant. And she said, "Well, you have to go to God with that." And apparently she did. She lived as many days as God had allowed her to. I asked her if she was afraid, or if and I asked her if she felt like she was going to die, and she said, "No."
so scary and it's so frightening, like it's an automatic death sentence. And that's not true. We dated 2 months and we got married. We started dating in October of 91. January 92, we got married, and we never looked back. Life is wonderful. I am truly living.